BYD Sealion 7 dah dilancarkan di Malaysia dan sekarang ni kita dalam model premium untuk test drive ini, dan ni adalah model yang paling murah walaupun at 184k is not exactly affordable. Nonetheless, it is quite a nice premium SUV, and even this premium model offers quite a bit of power. This premium model has a rear mounted motor that can do 230 kilowatt of power and 380 Nm of torque, which is good for a 0 to 100 km time of 6.7 seconds. This may not sound super impressive, especially for an EV, but if I do put my foot down, the instant torque of an electric vehicle can be felt very well. The steering is also quite light, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on who you ask. For me personally, I do wish it offers a little bit more feel, but for the most part, I think this is fine, especially for an EV of this particular segment. Where it does excel is in the ride quality. As far as I can tell in this brief test drive, it does offer a comfortable, plush ride quality. Kalau jalan tak rata ke, ada bump ke, kereta ni memang rasa stable and dia tak rasa sangat gegaran tu dalam kabin kereta ni, which is bagus. And MVH kereta ni memang baik. Walaupun sekarang ni hujan, so tak dengar sangat angin, tapi sebelum dia hujan, memang tak dengar sangat pun angin tu, walaupun kita way past the highway speed limit of 110 km/h. If I were to nitpick, however, it would be the tire roar, which does sound quite obvious as I go further from the national speed limit. But all in all, since this is an EV, it is obviously the tire roar that will occupy the sound as you are driving. As for the ADAS of the Sealion 7, it is much better than, say, the Atto 3. I really do not like the ADAS on that car, but in this admittedly much more premium car, it does feel very capable. It can keep itself centered in lane very well, it can keep up to the front car quite well, although it's a bit too much of a gap, but again, this is always just a safety feature for ADAS. And overall, it does feel very relaxing to have the ADAS activated, and it takes off the load of driving quite a bit, which is great for those long distance drives. Speaking of long drives, how much is the range of the Sealion 7? Well, for the premium model, which has the same 82.5 kWh battery as the performance model, it can do 567 km of range on a single charge. That sounds amazing, but it is worth noting that this is measured using the more lenient and optimistic NEDC cycle and not the much more stringent, much more accurate WLTP standard. Still, I would say that you can get a good amount of range out of this car because it does have a pretty big battery. And even if the NEDC cycle is quite optimistic, I think you can probably reach 500 km of range on a single charge. So that's pretty much it for the premium model of the Sealion 7. We will be moving to the faster performance model now, so let's give that one a try. So now we're in the performance Sealion 7, and let's put the foot down the pedal. It's not bad. I was already going at highway speeds, and even at this speed, when I put my foot down, the car can still accelerate and push me back to the seat, and that is great. So how much more power does the performance model offer? Well, it has a dual motor setup instead that does 390 kilowatt of power and 690 Nm of torque, good for a 0 to 100 km/h time of only 4.5 seconds. Not bad at all for a SUV this size. But all of this power adalah juga sedikit sacrifice sebab range kereta ni NEDC ya, 542 km sahaja. So sedikit kurang daripada model premium which can do 567 km. That is not to say this is a sporty SUV though, because after all it is still an SUV, so it is quite tall and body roll is quite evident as I take corners at higher speeds. I wouldn't be too aggressive with this car, but the instant acceleration of an EV, especially for an EV with a dual motor setup like this, is very fun. But I wouldn't just chuck it around corners because, you know, it's still an SUV. Of course, you do have to pay quite a bit of money for this range-topping performance Sealion 7. It retails at a cool 199,800 ringgit. Granted, not quite as expensive as the most expensive Tesla Model Y, which is what this model competes against, but still, it's still quite a bit of money. And if you are interested to test drive the BYD Sealion 7, you can do so at the Exchange 106 until 17 November this Sunday. see the SUV for yourself. You may like it, and test drive it to see if you like the driving characteristic. And for me personally, I think it's a really good BYD car, and the Chinese car maker is really showing other EV competitors in the market how it is done, because in such a short period of time, this is already the 5th model to enter the Malaysian market, and that is very rapid launches here and there, and that's great. So that is it for this test drive review of the BYD Sealion 7. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and always stay tuned for more good stuff to come here on this channel and nextrev.com.